That was a fast minute.
What's up, everybody? This is the first episode of the podcast that breaks down the longest running spy series ever, James Bond, one glorious minute at a time. So jump in a slinky dress, get your martini shaker, and let's drive off in our Porsche to watch the first minute of Dr. No, because this is Bond, Minute Bond. I'm Brian.
I'm Christian.
And Christian, what happened in this minute?
Absolutely nothing. We got to see the intro. We got to see the classic James Bond intro where he shoots right at the camera and the blood comes down. I really like the transition from the little, how it goes from the big, like how it circles and narrows down into the circle, and then it went into the title.
I heard you say that you loved that transition. You got really excited.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see that the first noises we heard after seeing the Metro Goldwyn Mayer logo, which is no longer a studio, was kind of a very... It would have fit well in an Alien movie, you know what I mean?
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to be seeing aliens the first second, actually.
All the beeps and boops, and then it went into the classic gun barrel, which was actually shot down a real gun barrel. Like, that's how they got that angle.
Nice.
But I thought it was interesting that the Bond type, who I don't believe that that's Sean Connery, he did like a little hop, if you noticed, as his turn.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he walks out all slow and cool, and then just a little hop before boom, and we get the shaking gun barrel after the blood goes down. But yeah, that is a cool transition, and then it is a very kind of groovy title sequence that starts. Even Dr. No like kind of flashes neon lights style, but it's Ian Fleming's Dr. No. Interestingly, the sixth book in the franchise in the series as the first movie. But hi Rachel. I kept seeing you look off. I thought you were looking at Rachel.
I was.
But yeah, that was a quick minute. How many Bond movies have you seen?
I've probably seen like 7 of them.
Which ones, if you remember? There's 4 Craig ones.
I think I've seen most of them with Daniel Craig, and definitely a lot of the ones with what's his face?
Brosnan,
yes.
Gotcha.
I will always want to say Bronson.
How do you feel about those different Bonds?
I don't know. I feel like I have to
Rewatch them?
They're so different, yeah. They're to me,
Bronson.
What?
Bronson.
Bronson.
Pierce. Just
No.
say Pierce. Brosnan.
Pierce.
You said Bronson. Brosnan.
He's always going to be like the classic Bond in my eyes.
Yeah? I remember...
Because I grew up with him.
He was the first one that I ever saw, but as a kid, I watched a show that he was a part of that actually stopped him from being Bond sooner. And it was a show called Remington Steele, and I preferred him in that. That was a detective story about a female detective who no one would hire because she was a woman. So she took this mysterious guy who had no name and said, "You pretend to be Remington Steele, this fake detective that I've made up to get work, and I'll do the real detective work." And even as a kid, I watched the Brosnan films. I was like, this is so goofy. Like, I remember a motorcycle sequence, I forget in which movie, but where he's on an upper level and the upper level starts collapsing, except it's a bunch of wood boards and each board collapses at once, like one after the other, instead of the whole thing collapsing. And I looked at that as a very snooty kid, and I was like, Oh, come on. Just have the whole thing collapse. That's lame. So when... And I've seen, like, this movie and I think one other Sean Connery one. But when Casino Royale came out... Mwah,
I know,
mwah,
Casino
mwah.
Royale is a phenomenal movie.
I was excited for that for so long while everyone was like, a blue-eyed blonde Bond? How dare you? And I was
He did
like,
such a good
no,
job,
I'm
though.
for it. Yeah.
He did such a good job that, I mean, obviously that's why they kept using him, right?
Yeah, he did a great job. He was in 50% of his movies were good Bond movies.
I'd agree with that statement.
And none of them as good as Casino Royale. If you have a different opinion, go for it.
No, I don't.
You like Skyfall more than Casino Royale?
Skyfall was badass. Casino Royale was really fucking good too, though. I mean, can't really pick a favorite, honestly.
Yeah.
But I can't pick a favorite.
Yeah, I prefer Casino Royale personally. Skyfall is beautiful and it has a great opening as well. But I felt like the third act of Bond's Home Alone sequence felt like a whimper compared to the giant scope of the movie. It started with such a bang and then it ended with a knife throw in a church. And I was like, oh, okay. Cool. Alright, that's it for minute 1.
This is Christian.
This is Brian.
And that was money.
Every penny of it.